Hello everyone, let's start with the first reading of ethics. Now, what this topic is really about is you would be dealing with seven standards in ethics, and basically under those seven standards, you'd be having some standards, and you would be presented with some, statements or case studies wherein you would be expected to decide, okay, whether this person or whether this individual really was obligated or really did some offense to this standard or not, or was this person innocent, or was this person combinedly offended these two standards, like or only this standard particularly. So question will be structured in this way. The first reading is basically an introduction to the world of ethics, wherein you are taught really what ethics is, why it is important in the field of investment manager, what is professionalism, what is the difference between ethics and illegal activities. So not many questions from this reading, but again, obviously, if from ethics you get questions, if you get the number of questions from around 15 to 20, that 2-3 questions will be coming from this part. Now, what is ethics? Ethics is shared belief about what is good or what is acceptable, and what is bad and what is unacceptable. So it is a shared belief between people of an organization, people of a profession who will be setting up these ethics for their profession. That okay, this is acceptable, this is not acceptable, and this is the ethical conduct which can be accepted into the society. This maybe will hamper the profession, the reputation in the society. So you should behave so and so way in the society. Ethical, if you follow ethical conduct, it improves or helps the stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders? If you are working in an organization, your employees, your stakeholders, your clients are your stakeholders, the people, you are your co-workers are your stakeholders. So your actions determine what your actions determine what happens to your stakeholders. And if you follow an ethical conduct, then your stakeholders will benefit from those. Now, describe the role of a code of ethics in defining a profession. Now, what is profession? First, let's define what is profession. Profession refers to a group of people who have basically studied some sort of course or some sort, or who have, done some sort of practice into something, like doctor is a profession, lawyer is a profession, CFA is a profession. So profession is what? The group of people who have some specialized knowledge. Specialized knowledge about something, and they agree to serve others with that knowledge. No, not everyone can have the knowledge of everything. So these group of people who have specialized knowledge about something, they agree to serve the rest of the society with their knowledge. So they need to follow code of ethics. Why? Because they are using their knowledge to help other people. So why do we trust them that they would be efficient? They would not be harming these people. So some code of ethics need to be set up. Now, why this code of ethics, or why ethics is really important in the investment management profession? Because you are dealing with money. First thing is you are dealing with money which is not yours. Some people have trusted their money to you. Some people have trusted their money to you. Okay. So those people don't really have much knowledge about the investment world out there. They are naive. So the code of ethics, or the ethics which are built or established, that prevents the investment professionals to not take advantage of these common people who have trusted their money to you. Second, if they are, when it comes about money, it is important that you build trust. So it helps to build trust between the two parties. And if this trust is not built, people will not put their money into investments. In this way, economy will lag. Basically, because of the fault of one person who decided not to follow the code of ethics, other people who were following the code of ethics would be doubted by the common people that whether I should really trust these people or not with my money. So the financial system itself or the investment profession itself collapses. So you need a code of ethics for professions. It is what? It is a way of profession that it is a way to communicate that okay, this is my profession, you are my client, I will be doing my services in the best manner possible. I will be true to you. So, what is code of ethics? It is a written set of moral principles that can guide behavior by describing what is acceptable or not acceptable. So it is a written set. You describe some code of conduct, you make it in writing. It's a written set of moral principles that will guide the behavior of these professionals, then what is acceptable into the society and what is not acceptable into the society. The professional would be expected to follow some minimum level of ethics, and if they don't do so, then they can also be disbarred from the profession. It can happen that they will not be allowed to exercise their profession or use their knowledge to help people. So the next lowest is basically what is profession and how they establish trust. So more or less we have discussed it that profession is what? It is a group of people who have some sort of specialized knowledge. They are focused on using the code of conduct and they want to serve the larger community or society. And what are the characteristics a profession can have? Very important from exam point of view. Profession can have the following characteristic, that is a code of standards, code of conduct that they will be expected to follow, code of standards, regulatory body. So, post the code of conduct, the standards will be built on. Then there would be a regulatory body who will be looking at whether the professionals are really complying with these code and standards or not. Focus on the needs of others. That is, if you're a teacher, you need to focus on what the needs of your student is. If you are a restaurant manager, you need to focus on the needs of your clients. A doctor needs to focus on the needs of their patients. So you need to focus on the needs of others. You need to serve society with your specialized knowledge. Put clients in interest first before yours. Requirement of continuing education. If that the world is dynamic. So if there is any change in the world that requires you to basically learn this thing, like people who may have completed their professional courses long time back, let's say 30, 40 years, they may have observed changes right now because of AI. So they can't be, just shifted over the fact that okay, I can't learn something not learn new, something new. This, if this is a need of the hour, if this is what the world out there is doing, then you need to learn that. If there is any change in uh, the accounting standards, if there is any change in the accounting standards, so the accountants, the CA professionals, or the people who have done CPA, they need to learn those changes. They need to understand okay what changes have the government brought in so that they can implement those changes while helping their clients. So there is a need of continuing education. So these are the characteristics of the professional behavior and ways in the professional establish trust. How the professionals establish trust. First is they will require high standards of knowledge. That I have completed my course, I have graduated from so university. So there would be requirements from high standards of knowledge. You would be following ethical behavior. Your professional conduct will be monitored by the regulatory authorities. Continuing education will be encouraged. You will be focused on your client needs, mentoring and inspiring others in profession. Along with this, you will be also helping your peers. So more or less, the points between the features of the profession and how to establish trust are similar on the same line. Now, what is LOS 89B? Describe the need of high ethical standards in the investment management. We have discussed this that basically if one person is doing one unethical practice, it will lead to the collapse of the whole financial system because people would lose their trust. People are investing, they are trusting you with their hard earned money. So you need to respect that fact and you need to follow the ethics, you need to follow basically the good practices and not really, no, not really make use of the advantages you have at your end. LOS 89E explains professionalism in investment management. So, under this, you will have you are expected to follow basically, you can either be suitability standard or you can be given a fiduciary responsibility. Under suitability standard, what happens is there is a match between what the clients, you know what your client's requirements are, you know what your client's risk tolerances are. So you match the assets, you match their liabilities, you match their investments, and you need to make decisions accordingly. Under fiduciary requirement, what happens? It goes over and above the suitability requirement. That is, along with matching the returns, risk, and everything, you need to do what is best for your client. That is, even though your client may not understand that this is best for them, you need to sit with them, you need to tell them why this is best for them, and you need to act in the best interest of your clients. You need to act in a way that is like you are putting your money on this. You need to put yourself in your client's shoe and then imagine what you will do. So that is when fiduciary what your fiduciary role really means. Now, what is the challenges to ethical behavior? This is our next LOS 89F. There can be many challenges like you may be in a position, we call it situational influences. You may be in a position that if you exercise some sort of ethical practice, then maybe you would be generating better returns for yourself, even though it may mean harming your employer or your co-worker. So in these type of situations, you may be incentivized to go with that ethical practice just to make some extra money for yourself. Or it can be a case that your employer is doing some practices which is not illegal but unethical and is harming your potential client or your clients. So you may be in a position that okay, whom should you really be to here? If you there can be a rule in your organization that you are not allowed to talk about these things to your client. But if you don't talk about these things to your client, it may end up that your client makes a bad decision and it may harm their investments. So you can report these things to the upper management or to whoever, or whoever the regulatory body is. So it can be called as whistleblowing. Whistleblowing may be acceptable in your company or maybe not acceptable in your organization, but in a way you are helping your client. So these are the various challenges in ethical behavior, that what should you really trust, what should you really be truthful to, when you should really be truthful to. Then comes various situational influences wherein you are incentivized that whether you should go and make some money for yourself or be ethical. LOS 89G is compare and contrast ethical standards with legal standards. That is, not everything which is unethical, not everything which is unethical is illegal. And not everything which is illegal is unethical. Unethical and illegal are not the same. It can be illegal to, let's say, it can be illegal to, let's say, drink. So in your country, it can be illegal, but it is not unethical. When does it becomes unethical? When you reach your organization and you are not in the position to make decisions in a sane mind. You are not, your mind is not that sane, or you are not in a very, comfortable position to make good decisions. Then it becomes unethical because you are having your organization. Now, the next thing which can be that something which is illegal doesn't mean that it is unethical, and something which is unethical doesn't mean it is illegal. That is, your company, which we discussed, that your company may not consider whistleblowing as an ethical practice, but it is not illegal. It can be that your company reports you to the authorities and have some legal action on you just because you reported on them. You reported on them because they were harming the clients. So, describe a framework for ethical decision making. What are the various steps we follow? Identify. First, we need to identify what are the various stakeholders which would be affected by a decision. That is, my employers, my co-workers, my clients, my prospective clients. So, whatever decision I will be taking, I need to consider all the stakeholders in my scenario, then come to a decision, because maybe it can be a case that if I am helping one stakeholder, that is me leading to putting another stakeholder at risk. That is, if I'm helping my employer to know that my another co-worker was up to something which is unethical and wrong, then I am harming that co-worker also. So first, I need to identify what are the various stakeholders involved in the decision, what are the various conflicts of interest I have, then consider. Consider what are the situational influences, what are the additional guidances I can take. Okay, this is my whole situation. Maybe you can approach your mentor and gain some additional guidance on what action you should take. Then decide and act. Then look at what the various ethics the organization has set up, what the various ethics the professional body has set up. Decide on the basis of those ethics and then act. Then reflect whether what the outcome was, whether it was anticipated or not. Was the outcome, is the outcome really what you expected, or is it something different? Why is it different? What is something which you can do different than else? So this is it for the next this reading. In the coming meetings, we'll be discussing the 7 standards in detail and the sub-standards under the 7 students as well. Thank you, everyone.